Okay, if I could have y'all's attention for just a second. First of all, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. This is the public information gathering and distributing about our superintendent search today. We appreciate you all being here. Since we do have a quorum of board members here tonight, I will gavel us into order. If you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I believe the flag is right behind me. Absolutely. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. As mentioned before, tonight is an opportunity for you to interact with our consultants as they continue to build a profile for what our community is looking for in a superintendent as we continue our search. I'm joined here tonight by our consultants, Mr. Tony Resendez of JCA Law and Mr. Saul Hinojosa of Hinojosa Consulting. Mr. Resendez is an attorney who specializes in school law. Mr. Hinojosa, I can't remember how many years you were a super. How many? 15 years as a superintendent. Both these guys really know what they're doing, and they're here to get your information and your feedback. So please don't hesitate to share your thoughts and your opinions on the subject. In addition, I'd also ask you to be a conduit of this. They're going to give you information about the search process that they worked with us as a board to kind of set down time frames, and also some of the legal barriers or some of the legal parameters that are involved in that search. I'm asking those of you in the community that are here, if you can, to the best of your ability, be a conduit for that information in our community. I know sometimes these meetings are tough to make. I know sometimes that there's a million things going on. But if you can be a source of information, it's sort of like the Vidal Sassoon commercial. You tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and pretty soon the screen is full of people who have the information. So please, we ask that you be a conduit of information. Again, this is our first of 5 community meetings. There'll be another one tonight at Allo Elementary at 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow we'll start at Hopkins Elementary at 5:30. And then move to Vickers Elementary at 7. And then on the 19th, we'll start at 6 p.m. out at Mission Valley. So please, if you know someone who lives in those areas who couldn't be here tonight, encourage them to go. The other thing is you'll be given a QR code tonight for our online survey. I ask that you take that and share that with as many people possible. Sometimes it's easier for people to share their thoughts online than it is to put things on hold and come to a meeting. That's completely, totally understandable. But we want as broad of a spectrum of ideas and suggestions from our entire community. So please, again, thank you so much for being here. It means the world to us. We love working with you. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Tony.
Thank you, Mike. Tony Resendez, I'm one of the attorneys helping with the search, and Saul Hinojosa. We've worked together before, and we've done searches across the state. We've had the pleasure to work with your board to get this started. So this is part of the process. At this point, we've opened up the application vacancy. We've met with the board. Now we're going through a series of meetings with staff, with the community, with some business organizations in the community to try to get an idea, get some feedback so we can share with the board. And this is a great opportunity. You have several board members here so they could hear it firsthand. Some things that you think about that are really important in the community right now and that are really important for the school district to consider, for your board members to consider as they go through the process and determine who do they want to hire as the next superintendent of schools. So we have a short little PowerPoint. We're going to share some things. Your board president already shared the dates in terms of the community meetings, but we want to go through a little bit of the timeline. And I'm going to talk about that, and then Mr. Hinojosa is going to talk to you more about getting some feedback from you. We have a microphone here, and these meetings are being recorded. So again, share it with your community members who may not been able to make it tonight, so they could hear it, hear some information. And then the future meetings, you can log on if you're not able to make those meetings to kind of see what the rest of the community is thinking. So let's see. Okay, so here's just a part of the timeline, the important parts. We met back on July 22nd just to talk to the board about opening up the vacancy officially, but also getting an initial profile. An initial profile of some of the qualifications and ideas that we wanted with regard to who would be the next superintendent. So we did that on July 22nd. Now, the application process closes on September 5th. That is the deadline for candidates to fill out an application, have it submitted. The district has done a great job of putting this on their social media and their website, so this is really good information to have. What's not on there, we are looking at September 12th, I believe, when the board will meet with us to go over all the applications. The board will see every application that comes to us because it's their decision. We'll guide them with our experience in terms of what we've seen and what we hear with you all. They're going to get the information from the survey, from these town hall meetings, from the meetings we've had with staff, the meetings we're going to have with the community, to gather that information to kind of figure out which is the best candidate for the district. And that'll take place September 12th. But then on October 2nd and 3rd is when we're going to do, or when the board's going to do the first round interviews. That's when they'll select generally 6 to 8 candidates and have the first round of interviews with those folks to determine which ones they believe are the best. And then from that pool, they'll select 2 to 3, bring them back for second round interviews on October 14th and 15th, and then on the 17th, name the finalist. So under state law, you have to first name a finalist before you hire them as superintendent. You have to name them, and then for 21 days, you have to wait for the 21-day period before you could actually hire them and offer them a contract. So they'll hire the individual 21 days after October 17th, which is beginning of November, and with the start date around January 1st. Because whoever the candidate is, they may obviously be at another school district, and they'll want to have a time to transition out. So that's the timeline for now. Saul, do you have anything you want to mention real quick on the timeline?
Sure. Thank you, Tony. Again, Saul Hinojosa. One of the things I think it's important to know is we're all gathered here today to gather input. Kudos to your board, because what we're doing today does not take place everywhere. I've been to a lot of searches where a school board decides we're going to do a search, they're going to make all the decisions, right, and the community isn't involved. So kudos to them. You know, when we met with them, that was one of the first things they said. They didn't really want to make any decisions without getting the voice of the community. And I tell you what, it's been great so far. I think we have close to 400 online surveys that have been submitted. And again, and we do have a QR code here where, if you want, if you click on that code, you can submit the survey tonight. But that's one of the highest ones that I've been part of. To have close to 400 surveys submitted, again, tells me that there's a vested interest in the community for the next superintendent. And our job here as consultants is to gather and recruit as many superintendents across the state possible to put them in front of your board. And I can tell you it's already taken out. Victoria ISD is a coveted place. I've received several calls talking about sitting superintendents from North Texas, South, East, West Texas that are interested in this position. All right, so Victoria is a great place to be. It's a great school district, and I know we're going to get some quality candidates. Now, that being said, there's going to be different types of candidates, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, okay? There's going to be some candidates that come in that, everyone has different types of expertise. Remember, as far as I know, there's only one person who's walked on water, right? So we want to get as close to that as possible. But, some of them are great instructional leaders. Some of them are great business leaders, right? Some of them are change agents, okay? That's what they're known for. Some of them are good at public relations, right? So our job is to get as many attributes that are going to match this community as possible, and we're going to put them in front of the board. The board of trustees at that point is going to decide who they interview, who they bring back, and at the end of the day, who's going to be the lone finalist, right? Again, our job is to bring as many quality candidates as possible before your board of trustees, so that we're going to make it hard on them, right, to make that decision. So that's our goal, and that's where we come in. So that being said, Tony's going to talk a little bit about the profile.
Thank you, Saul. So here is the profile that we worked on with your board. Some basic qualifications that the board felt were important in the next superintendent. Now, as Saul mentioned, there are different types of leaders. There's different types of superintendent folks that have different kinds of backgrounds. But the board is going to, obviously listen to the community, listen to the staff in terms of their input. And of course, the board members have their own perspective on what they believe, and they're going to use that information, synthesize it, look at the options that they have in front of them. And Victoria ISD is a good place to be. You have a strong history of a good community, a good school district. We know you have your challenges. That's a lot of districts do, but you're going to have some good applicants. So one of the things that really is required is the superintendent certification. The board felt strongly, because there are some situations where folks will come from another state, try to get a waiver with the TEA, but the board felt, no, you need to have experience here in Texas, which is important. And then the other ones are preferred based on discussions that we had. And these are the things that we might want feedback from you specifically. We'll tell you, some communities, they think it's really important for their superintendent to have a doctorate degree. Some communities, that's not as important. They just want somebody who has a strong, proven track record. They don't have to have a doctorate degree, just good experience as a superintendent. So we want to hear your feedback. And at any time, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand. And we have another microphone over here we'll want you to speak from. Saul, you want to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the profile?
And again, this is a conversation. Okay, this is not a formal setting of any sort. So I do think that there are two attributes here that were the non-negotiables. Okay, one of them, you have to at least be a teacher. Okay, you've had to been a teacher somewhere. There are places where people come outside of the education field. And the Board of Trustees felt that, if somebody's going to be the leader, all right, of this district, they have to at least served in that capacity to be a teacher. And the second part was that they needed to, at minimum, be an administrator as well. It's kind of hard to lead a school district if you haven't even led a campus at that point, right? So those are the two non-negotiables. You have to be, at minimum, a principal and a teacher. All the other things were preferred because we want to cast a wide net as possible, right? So doctorate, okay? If you don't have a doctorate, that doesn't mean you can't be a good superintendent. In fact, I know several who are outstanding superintendents outside or in the state of Texas that are excelling, and they don't have their doctorate's degree. So we didn't want to constrain ourselves to just have individuals that have doctorates. Now, again, that's preferred, right? If they have that type of certificate, is great, or that type of education. But again, that's not going to be at the top of the list. The other part is bond and construction preferred, and then finance and budget. We want to make sure that the individuals have a background in those particular areas. But I want to take a pause, and I know we're doing a lot of talking right now, and we want to hear from you guys now. What do you guys see as far as characteristics that you would like to see in a superintendent? Okay, we have some up here, but if you guys want to chime in, we'd love to hear from you. Yes, ma'am.
Well, the one in particular I'd kind of like to weigh in on is school finance and budget experience preferred. School finance and budgeting is very different. And that would be one I would put on my required list. But I understand the flexibility. I think that's good for some of the others, but that's kind of one I personally would like to see weighted heavily as if it's preferred as.
And that's a good point, because it was Texas school finance, school funding. It's not that easy to understand. And having experience with that, Saul, you may want to, the how schools get funded, and knowing that can really make a difference.
Yeah, school finance is it's worse than a regression formula. For those of you taking statistics and so forth, they make it extremely difficult. Everything is based on weights, what type of program you're in. There's a lot of factors, right? And there's this big template, and it's called Omar's template, right? And it changes. It's changed. Mr. Ron, how many times has Omar's template changed in the last 5 years, would you say? There you go. So it's constantly changing depending on the legislature. Fortunately, they only meet once every other year, right? So that's the good news, right? But again, to have experience in that area is a good quality. Anybody else as far as attributes? Boy, I thought we'd have a lot more vocal crowd here.
Are y'all originally been in Victoria for a long time? So y'all have seen some of the different leaders that have come through? Have y'all had any experiences or thoughts on what was very successful? You know, I know we're familiar with the district, and we know you've had some leaders that are real strong and with their pulse, their hand on the pulse, and others that are real strong with visions and ideas. Is there any quality that sticks out, or that you guys, or do you think your community's at a point in time where you need a change agent to come in, or do you need somebody with just keep things going, how things have been doing? Any thoughts on any of those ideas?
We need someone, do you really need, do you?
I think it's being recorded.
Oh, okay, wait,
Yeah.
let me work this again. Okay, yes, what I think we need is someone who understands Victoria as a whole. The last couple of superintendents we've had, they literally come in by themselves as the lone wolf. That we've even had superintendents who leave their families behind, which gives me an understanding they're not planning on being here, and they're just here to fill a position. We did have Dr. Shepard, who his family was here and his children attended VISD, which was a positive, but he's not from Victoria. And so so if he's not from a small town, because for me, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, this is still small. I describe this place to my family as Mayberry. You know, when you're here, you have to understand the dynamics of where you are and who you're dealing with. And I think a lot of people, when you see, we've for me, because my oldest is 25, he's 9. I feel like superintendents come in, they stay there a certain time, and they leave. I would prefer a superintendent who's worked with teachers around here, who's seen children grow up, because a lot of the people in the admin building were teachers. They did do admin jobs. And so, let's say, I'm running into people who've left teaching, but they remember my children. How are your children doing? I feel more personable with them. You know, with me, you just ain't met me yet, so whatever. But I would like for us to pick a superintendent from Victoria. That's the thing, we're trying to build Victoria up to be a great city. We have good people here. We don't need to go around the world and back when we have talents and people here. Keep the talent here. Okay, then I gotta get this way, because I'm gonna be here all day.
No. That is great.
Yeah.
Great for you to express that, and
What-
you have board members here that are hearing it firsthand, and that's good to know. Now, I will tell you, you know, it's you know, Victoria ISD is going to be it's a coveted job, because it's a good, people know it's a good community. People know they have a good tradition, so they're getting applicants from all over the place. Now, I see your point. One good news is, you know, the board is requiring that they live in the community, that they come and move and live in the community, and we've talked about, you know, they might bring their spouse, they might bring their family, and all that is good, because then they're vested in the community.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead, Saul.
Yeah, I was just going to add, and what I heard was, you want somebody who's vested, right? Somebody who's going to live here, shop here, go to church here, have their kids here, let themselves be involved in the community, maybe civic organizations. That's what you're looking for. Right? One of the things that I've heard is, and again, I'm going to bring out the teacher in me, so I'm going to call on some of you guys, okay? One of the things I keep hearing is a proven track record, right? That's one of the things that has come up, okay? I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna just ask, how would you define a proven track record? What does that mean to you?
I don't know, because I don't know who's making that statement, so,
Okay.
I mean.
But what does that mean to you? If I asked you, what is in education?
Instruction, in finance, in, I mean, what, you know, I mean, I think that's pretty broad. I mean, if you're asking me, I would say the superintendent is the instructional leader of the district. That's responsible for the integrity of instruction and student learning. It's job number 1. Safety, obviously. So, I do have a question.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
So you say that possess Texas superintendent certification required, and you guys say you've done a number of searches. So full disclosure, I was on the school board for 18 years. I've done 4 superintendent searches. So in the past, what we learned in doing a national search was the biggest percentage of applicants were coming from out of state, but they got their superintendent's license in Texas. But at the time, Texas was really top heavy. So you want a superintendency, you're ready for your first superintendency, you go out of state, you get it, you get some experience under your belt. Because, you know, Spring Branch may have 12 deputy superintendents. I mean, you know, so they go out and talking to other districts who are doing national searches, those, you know, the highest percentage of people who are applying are from Texas. They're just wanting to come home. And so I guess what you're saying is it wouldn't matter if you were out of state as long as you have the Texas superintendent.
Correct. Yeah. And I believe we've already had some folks that are out of state who have certificates that are interested, and they've requested an application. And we've done searches actually nearby where we've had that happen, where they got their first superintendent job out of state, but they were certified here. And then, so as long as they're certified here, then.
So what percentage are you finding when you're doing searches that are coming from out of state?
It's a lot smaller now. It's changed. Yeah, at least in the ones that I've been involved with, there aren't as many coming from out of state who are certified. But there was a time where there was some.
What's the largest district, you mind me asking?
Oh gosh, we've done.
From out of state?
No, largest district.
Search that we've done.
Most recent.
Let's see, Harlingen was the
Harlingen
most
ISD.
recent one.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. We've done Laredo ISD, Harlingen ISD, we've done El Paso ISD. We've done
Alice?
Alice, yeah.
South. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for answering that question. Anybody else? Any comments?
Yes.
What you said was important to me, because that's what I'm thinking already is I don't see anything on here that talks to me about community involvement. And I have not felt like we've had a clear recognition of the fact that this community, because it's so active and because we have so many people, that what the community does and wants to do and is doing is completely unrecognized by the administration. Now, that's my personal perspective. There may be other people who are aware and know that, but I sat down at one of the other planning meetings that we had, public information, and the assistant superintendent had absolutely no idea the level of involvement that a particular group that I know of is very involved with the school. Didn't even know what I was talking about. And and I'll just tell you, that's the Rotary Clubs here in Victoria. And we've been very involved, still are very involved. Most people in the administration don't even know it. And have in fact pulled some of our programs that we think were important. So that's my personal perspective, is I would like to be able to have community organizations contribute, that want to be contributing to the benefit of our students, some way to do that. And I don't see that up here, and I have not felt that in a number of rotations of superintendents.
Yeah. One of the
Community
things,
partnerships.
one of the things we are going to be meeting with the Rotary Club. I know I have a meeting in the morning. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I will be there, and there's some other civic organizations we're going to be meeting with as well.
So, and just so you know, other groups have shared with us the importance of making sure the superintendent's connected with the business organizations, but also with, there's a new mayor and just with the county folks and bringing all those partnerships together. Yeah, so that goes in line with some of the things we're hearing, so that's good. Go ahead, ma'am.
I think I'm going to say within the last like 8 to 10 years that our school board has somewhat been political, and school board is supposed to be a non-political seat. Okay, when you decide that you're going to be a board member, you're supposed to represent your district. Like, let's say you have so many schools under who you represent. And so we have people who volunteer and we don't see our board members at the schools. With Rotary, I see Rotary come all the time.
Not anymore.
But what I'm saying is when we were doing the 90s and everything, what I didn't see is, I didn't see board members. When we do science night, when we do open houses. Now, I understand the board members are just one person and they have a life outside, but if it's 500 different activities and you don't come to one, and I don't see you until you need me to vote for you, then it's a problem. Now, if a board member happens to be coming to those Rotary meetings, then the board member can recognize you. But it's almost like if the tree falls in the middle of the forest and no one's there, can you really hear it?
So I appreciate that input. I'll tell you just, for clarification, you're right. Most districts, not most, actually, there are several districts that have single-member districts. But what a lot of folks don't know is that, board members are trustees. They're entrusted with the entire district. Even if you're elected from one single-member district, that's not just you're still responsible for the entire district. Now, you might have those single-member district constituents, but in general, you're entrusted. So it's not a representative type of government. So it's actually a little bit different. And then the second piece, real quick, this particular board has been very focused on, let's get back to, what's most important for kids. We need a good leader for the students. So they're focused on that.
That is not true.
Well, that's what they've shared with us. So,
I will tell you this, let's say out of 7 people, we have a couple of board members who sit there and they literally just throw stuff at the wall until it sticks. And I feel, and I'm gonna speak for myself, as a parent, as a volunteer of the school, as a volunteer in the community, and as a staff member, when I have a trustee who don't even come into the school telling me what's going on into a school they don't step foot into, it spits in the face of the people who work tirelessly trying to make things happen. They don't see all of the things that they don't see the nuts and the bolts.
sure.
You understand?
I do.
So
I-
what I'm saying is, there's a lot of things happen, and we have, and when we also look at this superintendent, they need to also know that this board is not 100% pro-VISD. So how do you work? To bring the board members together so we can work with the cause that's supposed to be there, representing the student? We're supposed to make our students better. It's really about the students. Because guess what? I don't want a doctor or a nurse that can't read or write or don't know how to spell.
So let me jump in real quick. No, this is good feedback. And so one of the things that we did here today from some other groups was recognizing that the next leader should be someone who can be a team builder to help build teams with the community, build teams with the board, build teams with principals, to be a strong team builder and have that type of characteristics in their leadership styles. So that's what I'm hearing from you.
Tony,
Yeah.
if I could just add, I think there's I'm just going to say, the board members, okay, they have, I'm just saying, rules that they have to abide by in the Texas Education Code, and they're not allowed to just go into a school, okay? There's what we call governance laws, okay? So board members, now if it's after school events, but during the school day, okay, they can't just come into a school. There's a process. You normally have to advise your superintendent if they want, and normally the administrator will walk with them as opposed to them just walking into the school, okay? It's a board members, it's elected, paid position, and they do have to abide by the government code.
I'm not looking for them to wash the window or sweep the floor. I'm looking for them to come to science night.
Sure.
I just want to see a face besides when they need to be voted for.
Sure. Okay. So just for folks that might not be able to make it or that don't understand, the superintendent also doesn't vote. They don't have a vote on the board.
About coming, we vote for
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you vote for the board members, and,
Yeah.
and the board members don't get paid.
Yeah.
So it's just a unique form of government. But team building, that's a big, someone who can.
And it's all about kids. I think that's it at the end of the day.
Yes. Anyone else? Any other thoughts about the profile or characteristics or yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say I agree with what she said a while ago about looking for someone that actually is from the community and knows the community rather than bringing someone in from outside that, yeah, they're going to live here. Of course, they have to move here. But just, someone that is familiar with the schools and the community would be good, I think.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments, feedback on profile? Okay.
I'll go to the next slide.
So we're holding a series of meetings, right? These are the ones that the school is advertising that are part of the 5 meetings that we've had scheduled on campuses. But then we also have other community meetings with other organizations as well. So I'm going to be here, I think, 8 to 10 times with different meetings and organizations to get feedback, right? And it's critical. Why is your feedback critical? Number one, we're learning about what the community wants as far as attributes in a superintendent, right? The second thing is when candidates come in, all right, we're going to formulate these questions based on the common themes that the community wants or is asking, right? So one question might be, why are you interested in Victoria ISD? Okay, are you going to live here? Are you going to bring your kids here? Yeah, what commitment are you willing to make to Victoria ISD? Are you willing to make that 2, 3, 4, 5-year commitment, right? So those are questions that we're going to ask them, okay? Now, they can tell you what you want to hear, right? But again, we're going to have that opportunity to ask them. So again, that's one that I'm hearing right now, somebody who has a vested interest, right? Somebody who's local, maybe worked with districts about this size, right? And knows the dynamics of Victoria ISD. Okay, those are some of the things that I'm hearing right now.
Well, and also leveraging the business organizations that can be partners with the school district. Yes, and then a team builder, somebody who can help build teams.
Oh,
It's okay if it shuts down.
okay. Yeah.
It's on a timer, okay. Well, as Saul mentioned, it really is important for you guys to, and if you weren't able to express your thoughts or opinions here, or if you think of something later, you jump in on that QR code and there's a place to put comments as well as just do the survey, if you haven't done it already. Go ahead.
And the biggest thing, as Mr. Mercer said at the beginning, I think is really important, get as many people as possible to fill out this survey, because this is important. We want to hear your voice. Friends, family, business colleagues, whoever you may have, be sure they fill it out, because this is one opportunity you have, right? Once the deadline comes, then it's gone. And we don't want anybody saying, oh, I wish I would have said this or that, okay? This is your opportunity to make your voice heard.
And right now it's scheduled to close on the 5th, September 5th, the date of the deadline.
Well, no, I don't need the
Okay.
question. Will you have something at the sneak peeks, like with the QR code, will there be a QR code at the sneak peeks this Thursday? Because we have the pre-K and the kindergarten and the first grade parents coming,
Yes, ma'am.
and we usually, when the board has things like this, we don't have a lot of people attend. But like with the kindergarten and pre-K and first grade, if we have something set up with a QR code, as they come in, make sure they scan it.
Great idea, and Randy's nodding his head over there that they
Yeah.
can make that happen.
Okay.
And we are going to be at convocation, with everybody, but that's good. Yeah, well, and I appreciate the feedback. The district social media team's been putting it out there, and we're trying to continue to get input. So yes, thank you.
Some flyers with the reminders to all the parents is what you're saying.
Or some kind of opportunity.
Just even something that
Yeah.
when they come in to sign their name, they can just scan the code. We don't need like 750 pieces of paper,
Right, just
one
right.
per school.
Okay,
Okay.
good idea.
Yeah, thank you. That's good feedback. That's a good idea to continue to get more information.
Any other comments? I know we're going to be going to, at 7 o'clock, to Adlo Elementary. I don't know if you guys are going to follow us or not, but we will be there.
Do y'all have any other thoughts, or you have some board members here that, if you're an experienced board member, you've been through some searches, do you have any, okay, do y'all have any? And that's a very good question. I mean, Omar Garcia developed those formulas years ago, and I don't, yeah. And it's not, experience is one thing, but, proven, being able to understand, that's another thing. But through your searches, any words of wisdom for, you got board members sitting here, us as consultants, again, we're not perfect either. We're doing the best we can, and we've done a lot of them. But if y'all have any thoughts or suggestions, it could be very helpful. Or anything that don't do this. Any thoughts?
I would just say, again, just continue to get as much input as you can, from people, and I think we all recognize too that, people will speak up afterwards, they had their chance, to bring things up, and truly honor what people are saying, and truly, not just do lip service to some of the thoughts, and for that. I did one superintendent search, so.
You've been through it.
Yeah.
And you've done a few?
I realize you've done 4.
And again, when this is a great opportunity to bring the community together, when you do searches, because school districts can't do it alone, right? The business community, is an integral part, there's so many factors. It's everybody contributing to the school district, right? This is a lighthouse, right? This is a shining star in the community, and we have to support it, right? Because this is our future. Our kids are our future, right? Whether they seek a trade, whether they go to college, right? Or they enter the workforce. We want to be sure that they're prepared when they leave Victoria ISD to be successful. And next to parents, right, the schools are probably the most influential part, is going to change the trajectory of a student's life. And we need to be sure that we select the right person who's going to get you guys going in the right direction. Again, I'm pretty confident that we're going to get a innovative, person who is going to do a great job here, and along with the board's help. But again, I'm excited to be here. And it's going to be a great process. This is a great tool to bring our community together, and to get that top-tier candidate. If nobody has any other comments, we're going to close at yes, you got one more?
One more.
All right.
I think that the superintendent needs to know that the people of Victoria is not looking for somebody to give them razzle dazzle. We just need the truth. If the school district needs more money because of something, let's just get to it. Let's trim the fat, and let's figure out what can we do, and if we have to take things away, please let us know. Don't, be truthful, because we've had money issues in the past, and there's people who want to use the past against the present board members and the superintendent, and they weren't even here to deal with it. VISD has great students, great staff, we have great bones, but we need some meat. We really need some meat.
Gotcha. No, that's helpful.
You brought up a good point, a great point that I want to make known. When you said somebody who's going to tell us the truth, that's my job, right? I'm going to vet the candidates, okay? So before the board looks at them, I'm going to know everything about that candidate, where they've been, who they've talked to, right? What kind of job they did in their previous district, and even before that, where they were previously. Normally, my experience has been you get the best data, not in the district they're in currently, but where they worked for before, right? Because people are going to be a little bit more free to talk about the job that they did. But we're gonna know everything about that person before the board even talks to them. So I'm gonna tell you, everybody, has a skeleton or two, right? Yeah, not exactly. But the board is gonna know that. There are not gonna be any surprises. You know, when it's time to name that loan finalist, we're gonna know everything about that person, what they've done. You know, we're gonna vet them, and that's probably one of the biggest parts of this search process, to make sure that those candidates have been vetted. Because if you don't do that, then that's where you have issues at times.
But you want someone who's not going to sugarcoat things. Just tell you like it is. Tell the community like it is. Be transparent, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes.
Yeah. And then work toward building a better future. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Anyone else? Last chance? And well, it's really not your last chance. You can go to one of the other
4 other
community-
opportunities.
Yes, yes. So you might think about something else, or you might want to just go and listen in and see if other folks in your community have other ideas, or watch them. Randy's going to get these things posted once they're all recorded. But thank you all for coming. Mike or any of the board members have anything you want to share or add?
You guys got anything? They're good. All right. Well, if you guys are done, then what I'll do is I'll close this out. Before I do, again, I want to thank you for being here. I firmly believe that everyone in this community wants what's best for our students and what's best for our community. Regardless of what our leanings are, regardless of how we feel about things, I think that's one thing that we all revolve around, is we want what's best for our students, because we know that's what builds a great community. You show me that tonight by being here. You will continue to show that to me and the rest of the community by sharing this information with the people that you visit with and the people that you talk to them, and tell them how important of a decision this is. Speaking for the board, we are dead serious about this job, finding the right fit. And so what you have to say is of the utmost importance to us. Don't be afraid to say something. Don't be afraid to hurt our feelings. The more information I get from you, the better I'll be at serving you, and the better the rest of the board will be too. So please, never hold back. Let us know and remind us and hold us accountable. I also want to thank Ms. Jones for hosting us here today at Shields Elementary. You know, when we plan these public meetings, we create somewhat of an imposition on people that didn't expect that it was going to happen before. So thank you very much to you and your staff for making this available, and then also to our administrative staff who have done such a good job making sure that we had our audio visual and that we've got this recorded for posterity, and so that other people can see this. Again, thank you so much for being here, and on that note, we are adjourned.